Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 3 of the Primetime Rundown Zoom interview series. Alongside my man, Rob DeLuca, I'm Joey Jarzynka. We cannot thank you enough for tuning into the Eastern Observer and the Blackjack Media Networks. My man, Rob DeLuca, a good friend of mine, we cannot thank enough for joining us here for episode number 3. Rob, that hair is getting extremely long. My goodness, how is your quarantining going?
I'm hanging in there. Things are good. Just working from home a little bit, working out every now and then. A lot of laziness, though, no doubt. Hope everything's going well on your side.
Yeah, it's going well. If I didn't have any gel in my hair or anything like that, it would be it would look pretty bad. I can tell you that. But we're keeping we're staying healthy on both sides, which is great. And that's really all that we could hope for. I know we had that chat over or off camera. We can only do so much here in the house, and that's why this is like I said, this is a good time for me to be chatting with you on the record about your accomplishments and also about your favorite team that you're currently wearing. The NJ crest on your shirt, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So just for those who are tuning in now, we cannot thank enough tuning in on the Eastern Observer, I-95 Sports and Entertainment Network, along with the New York Pro Scouts Association for baseball. We cannot thank our partners enough for giving us this opportunity, the Primetime Rundown Zoom interview series, along with my podcast, our podcast, the Primetime Rundown. Rob DeLuca, Marist College graduate just about 2 years ago, which is absolutely crazy to think about. And really, let's see this. The biggest thing for Rob DeLuca, tell us who Rob DeLuca is.
Well, yeah, hard. Yeah, you said that. Hard to believe. It's going to be It's going to be 3 years in May. It's hard to believe.
It's crazy.
But, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess when it comes to me, the first thing you think of is probably got to be sports guy. When can't I talk about sports? The answer is never. I will, without a doubt, sit down and talk about sports with anybody, anytime. Essentially 24/7, especially right now, because what else are we doing?
That's true.
But yeah, so I guess we could start with a little bit of my my journey. How we want to go into how I got to Marist, maybe?
Yeah, listen. Really, what I want to know is who Rob DeLuca is, and the biggest thing here is how you chose sports broadcasting to be your major, and what led you to Marist. Mainly.
All right. Yeah. So we're gonna have to go back in time a little bit here.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, I always loved to watch sports, and occasionally, give the play-by-play myself. I guess it was just always just kind of a thing I love to do. But I'm outside shooting at a goal, giving a little play-by-play. But then I would say it was about a little late in my youth. I would say about 16. I would say 15, 16 years old when I realized this is what I want to go to college for. This is what I want to do. It was after I had found a advertisement on the back of a Sports Illustrated magazine.
Wow.
For a play-by-play sports broadcasting summer camp. It was they run like 10, 15 different camps all across the country, and
of course
they always have them in North Jersey. So I went to the one in North Jersey twice, and they were just the best combined 10 days. Like, it made me realize, like, yep, I did it once, loved it, did it one more time, and that's when I realized, yep, this is it. This is what I'm going to college for. So that's what I based my search on. And then I guess when we say how I go to Marist, I put a lot of schools on my list. Hofstra was up there, Quinnipiac. I threw safer schools like Montclair State on there because close by, also family relative there. St. John's University also went on there, my father being an alumni. So I looked at all those, and then I visited Marist, and I fell in love with what everyone was telling me, what I saw with the communication school. What did it in was I did a summer pre-college course at Marist College going into senior year of high school. It was a 2-week program that gave you kind of the college experience. And it kind of just showed me that that's where it showed me that this is where I want to be. So when I applied to Marist at early admission, so I was like, this, if I get in here, this is where I'm going. That was that. And I was given it. I got a letter in the mail, Christmas Eve, 2012. And the rest is history.
Yeah, and it's crazy because there's a lot of schools out there that specialize in sports broadcasting, sports communication. But then there's also the other handful of schools, and really the majority of the schools, if you think of, and really a lot of people, and this is no dig to Marist, but, and even St. John's for that rather. Yeah. But, really when you think of sports broadcasting and Marist, I think of Rob DeLuca. I think of your friend, Casey Bryant. I think of, and I know that both of you guys are going to be, or, both of you guys are budding superstars. And it's, there's not a lot of, I don't want to say, is there a lot of alumni that you guys have a strong alumni for the Red Foxes?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Marist alumni out in the sports field. Like there's, scattered around really a little before Casey and I's time.
Right.
Hey, don't dig yourself. You're coming right. You're up and coming right there with us now.
Well,
so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah. So but the Red Fox connection is strong out there, no doubt. And it's also good to have the other connections of, where your parents went to school, because you never knew who they know. That's actually kind of helpful of how I got into my current production assistant job over at ABC in New York. Is you got to know people. That's networking. Probably one of the biggest, most important things in our field, I would say, is gotta have that strong networking.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And really the biggest thing too, going back to what I was saying before, is that, when you think of the alumni network, you think of, you think of Fordham, and you think of Vince Scully, you think of Michael Kay, you think of Syracuse, and you think of Mike Tirico, and St. John's, really, you think of Mike Francesa, Joe Benigno, or you think of Seton Hall and Bob Lee. Or Rutgers, Catherine Tappan. There is the alumni network. As long as you utilize it properly, and that's the biggest thing, is that you have to make those connections. You have to be open with these people, and you can't be shy about any of it either. It is the toughest field to get into, and I'm extremely glad to be speaking with someone who is in my field and knows how hard it is to basically maintain the enthusiasm when we fall, and the biggest saying that I always say, and I was told by numerous people, when we fall, we rise. And that's the biggest thing, because I know, and I could tell you, I've had many talks with you off camera and through text message. And I've said, I can't stand this, we'll keep it PG. I can't stand this. Yeah. It's just, it's terrible. I don't want to be in this field anymore. And I think we both pick each other up.
Absolutely.
And that's how far along you and I have come as friends. And the best part is, and for those asking how I got to know Rob DeLuca here from Marist College, and also and tell me exactly, or tell the viewers exactly where in New Jersey you live.
Okay, so where I exactly live in New Jersey, for those people, I live in a little Italian town called Fairfield, New Jersey. Not the Fairfield, Connecticut. This is the better Fairfield. This is we're the most Italian. I'll make it simple for everyone. Google most Italian town in the country. It'll pop right up. Top results, and it's right there. In studies, over 50% population, consensus.
Yes.
Every other household, you're probably running into an Italian.
Yeah, Yeah, and that's and to me that's that's wild because how does a kid from Cold Spring Harbor from Long Island and how does a kid from Fairfield, New Jersey, how do these two meet? Well, we did have a mutual friend, and we still do have a mutual friend in a guy that I went to high school with, Danny DeVita, and we met when we went to, coincidentally, a Devils game.
Yeah.
And we went to a Devils Islanders game at the Prudential Center at the Rock in Newark. And the three of us went. I don't remember no, because I was driving. Right, that's what it was. Yeah, and then you guys had slept over at Danny's house. Yeah,
correct.
And then I had gone up to Marist for a birthday party, and you were there. And then after that, then we hit it all.
Yeah.
So it's who you know, and it's not only who you know, but it's the relationships that you make along the way, and just seeing what one Facebook friend request would do. And if it's a mutual friend, if you've spoken to that person in person, I'm not really a big fan of just friending all these different people, and saying, oh, I'm going to reach out to this person. I'm not really a big fan of that. I'm unless it's like LinkedIn or something like that.
Yeah.
That's different. But in terms of just looking for, I'm not looking for a friend at all. It's just it randomly it pops in. Things happen for a reason, and that's why you are now right here on episode number 3 of the Primetime Rundown Zoom interview series. And again, if it wasn't for our friend Danny DeVita,
never know. Yep,
exactly. And we would have probably met elsewhere in the industry, because like I said, I know the both of us have the ability to get to where we want to go. So now while you're at Marist and we spoke about your friend Casey Bryan, and what Casey has done is surreal. He's won Broadcaster of the Year with a hockey team.
The Danbury hat tricks. He just the league's. It was actually the league's award. It wasn't even so like people in that league voted on it, and his team got it.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So now, and that's called the Danbury. Say it again.
The Danbury hat tricks.
Danbury. Geez, the Danbury hat tricks, and exactly who they are. They play for the Prospects Hockey League, and there is no affiliation with the NHL in that. But basically, what it was that years ago, or a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, when you were in school, just to give the viewers a little bit of a background, you, Rob DeLuca, would call games with Casey Bryan, and also I believe your friend Matt McNamara, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I got my names right here on my on my script. But it's surreal that again you do this, and you also had a full radio station to work with, but unfortunately it was not utilized properly. Give us a little bit of background on that.
Oh, WMAR. Wow, what can any of us say about that? No, they're just
any positive. And really, let's stick to the positives and keep the
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we're more than thankful that we had a whole radio studio. It's a room with all the technology needed to go out on the airwaves. Eventually the airwaves did end up crashing. Like it was just not the best leadership when we were winding down our careers. The upperclassmen above us, when we were lowerclassmen, had graduated, and then people below us, just the leadership wasn't there. And then eventually we couldn't get on the radio anymore. We had to just go right to Facebook. We had to just do Facebook Live instead, because we weren't going to stop. We're not going to let that little obstacle stop our grind, especially knowing a guy like Casey Bryan. He will get things done to the end, and we had to make sure we went out the right way, and not just because we couldn't do it anymore, but we figured out a way to make it happen.
Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing. And tell us, and also now tell us how you got started with Rant Sessions, and tell us about your experience calling hockey games for the Marist Red Foxes.
Well, yeah, Casey's been a friend of mine. That pre-college program that I had mentioned earlier in the broadcast is actually where I met Casey. That's where we first met, and we stayed in touch all throughout that time. And then we were both at Marist together, and then I went to we both first called one game in our spring of sophomore year. We literally just had Casey's cell phone, the little record app that iPhones have. We basically shouted into it, not really knowing too much, being our first game, but we go back and listen to it. It's funny. But yeah, then I go abroad to Florence, Italy for a semester, and Casey gets started with our friend Matt McNamara. They start calling Marist Hockey games organized level. At first, yeah, they would pre-record it, and then I came back from Italy, and I was like, hey, you guys need any extra hands? And Casey was more than willing to bring me on. He took me in, and then that is how the rant sessions was created, between all the broadcasts and then also our little podcast radio show. And that's how the rant sessions was created. And then halfway through the spring semester, we figured out how to go live on Facebook. And then,
right,
as I said before, the rest is history. Yeah. We made the rant sessions for 2 years, and then we graduated college and we're in our different directions, but we still get together. Matt, Casey, and I get together via the Skype, and we currently have a podcast we call the Sports Movie Madness. We take a look at the best of the best and the worst of the worst in all things sports movies.
Well, now, okay, now, just to give our viewers a little or a background of that. Cannot thank you enough for giving us the background. Now, where can the viewers go to listen to this?
So the Sports Movie Madness podcast is right now exclusively on Spotify. So just search us in on Spotify. We'll be right there. There's about 5 or 6 episodes out there right now, but we've got double digits in the bank ready, getting edited and getting ready for release as we speak. All
right. So just in case it looks as if that we are having a little bit of technical difficulty either on my side, on Rob DeLuca's side, but I'll give you exactly what, just in case if no one heard Rob or if anything. So it is on Spotify. He does have a lot more edits to be done, but they will be coming up on Spotify pretty soon. You'd figure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that would be so that's really amazing. So the biggest thing too is, Rob, is that you guys are keeping busy, and especially because you guys are remaining in touch, and also you're not allowing this quarantine here, or this, or the pause, if you will. That's what they say in New York, but with both of our states technically on pause or, told to stay home. I will not use the SIP acronym, and Rob knows what I'm talking about as everyone else. But like I said, we won't say that. You've been very positive, and I know again that, there is a lot of things that only you can control, and the rest is just controlled from up above.
Yeah.
And especially this, where you have your podcast going. How is it that you guys are still able to get this podcast going, basically just going, and how much easier is it now? Because you guys are all home together. Well, not home together, but home at the same time.
Yeah.
How are you guys utilizing that time to potentially improve yourselves on Spotify and to potentially grow even bigger?
Yeah, I mean, we're working on this. Casey's the master of multitasking. That boy can do about 2,000 different things at once, and it never ceases to amaze me how he manages to get it all off the ground. But we're just right now we're trying to stay on a normal schedule. We're not trying to over push anything. We record usually about once a week. That way it gives us time to do our other things, spend time with our families, our other work. We're all working from home right now. So
right.
We've also got to take care of our jobs. So we stick to our schedules right now, and we're always looking for ways to improve it. We take suggestions from people. We want our viewers to tell us how we can grow, because we feel what we're doing is great. We feel what we're doing is fun. We're giving people as with most podcasts right here on the Primetime Rundown, like we're providing forms of entertainment here. That's what is most important to us. So we're always just trying to find ways that maybe we can make it more fun, which is why what we do is we don't always stick to script. We'll go off top. I mean, we'll all keep it pretty relative, but we won't strictly talk about the movie. We can branch it off into something that happened in life or something. And
well, of course, and that's and that's exactly and that's exactly what we're doing now too. Because really, and just by looking on what we both came up with here, and just to let the viewers know as well, is that, as you can see, I'm a very I'm an open book. And unless I'm unless I'm out in the field and interviewing players or interviewing other people, I'm very open to giving my guests a heads up on what I'm going to be asking them, because not only do I want them back moving forward, but I also want to make sure that I remain in good spirits with that person. I don't want to burn any bridges. So and really, the reason why I bring that up, Rob, is because just by looking at our script, we talk about general conversation, and that's exactly when I said to you earlier about what was it, or you had brought up Florence, Italy. Really, I'm sure that that was probably a part of this, but just to give every little blurb, an entertainment spot, or a quick spit out, or whatever it may be, just to entice the viewers, conversational. You have to go off script, because if you do, then really, hate to say it, but even for me too, it becomes boring, and you have to and you have to sound intelligent, enthusiastic about it. And you can't let anything get in the way, literally anything, because if you do, then it will be in your head for either the rest of the show, the rest of however long you do, whatever it may be. Excuse me. So, and really, like I said, I actually didn't even know that you did a podcast between you and I. I never knew that. When did you start that?
We started it in the later side of 2019, I would say. Okay. It's not too old. It's relatively new.
All right. Well, that's pretty good. See, you see, there's certain things about my friend that I don't even know. That's.
It's just the way life goes.
It's true.
We catch up with. This is helping us catch up on our basis, pretty much.
That's true. And usually, I mean, hey, we usually talk every day anyway. But like I said, there are certain things that just that do not come up in conversation.
Yeah.
But now, we'll definitely be able to tune into what was the name of the podcast one more time?
Sports Movie Madness.
Sports Movie Madness on Spotify. Tune in to Sports Movie Madness on Spotify, starring Rob DeLuca, Matt McNamara, and Casey Bryan. I always get the name mixed up. So now moving forward here, following graduation, Rob.
Yeah.
I know you do play-by-play for Montclair State University hockey, but also let's start with this. And this was where you first started coming out of college, was ESPN on ABC Productions. So, and I think that is the coolest thing, where you work at ABC Studios and you work with the Sunday showcase games.
Yeah.
For the NBA.
Yeah. So a little background. Yeah. So I got out of college, graduated 2017. It was not an easy find. It took about a year of searching, really, almost a year of job searching before I finally got a call. It was very helpful. One of my connections was able to get me this, who works at ABC on the news side, was able to get me this interview on the sports side. It went well. So 2 years later, here I am. 2 years later from that, almost basically, here I am now. The 2-year anniversary is actually approaching. Wow. So I work on weekends. I work during the week in the office to prep for what we would air our live games on the weekend, be it the NBA Saturday Primetime, the NBA Sunday Showcase. During the fall, it's one thing and one thing only: college football on ABC. The noon game, 3:30 game, Primetime, 7:30. It was that when September hits, It is all college football, nothing else. During the summer is pretty much our quiet time. We kind of stick to our recorded shows, X Games, but then I guess now that's all we've been doing really, and playing repeats. But yeah, then
Right.
normally we would get into something like Little League in the later summer months, and
Yeah.
and this year we were actually pretty excited. We were getting some soccer. Like there are some
Yes.
sports we're getting that we haven't gotten in a while. Like we were gonna get the UEFA tournament,
Yes.
2020
Yeah.
Euro tournament, and that's now postponed. We were gonna get a little bit of MLS action, and that is now postponed. Right. So pretty much right now, what we're trying to prep for our best, even though there's not going to be any production vans or anything, but we're still in prep to get ready for the NFL draft, which will go on as scheduled virtually. So we're pretty much going to get ready for that probably this coming week, and right through into the next week when we start on next Thursday at 8 p.m. I believe.
Right. Yeah. So for those again who don't know, the NFL draft is virtual. ABC, ESPN, also on the NFL Network. I think Fox is also having it as well. It's going to be on like 4 different networks. It's something crazy that the NFL
everyone's
is
getting a little piece of the action just because it's come to that point.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, it's on ESPN, but then it's simulcast on ABC.
Yeah, ABC. Yeah. ESPN's really trying to push the ABC viewership for Thursday, Friday, and then then Saturday is a definite simulcast.
Right.
Yeah.
So and really, I think that is amazing, especially, to get into the production side of things, because really the biggest thing that I've always been told, and I was told in school, is to be a quote jack of all trades, because if you can do production side, if you can do sound, if you can be a cameraman, you know how to do any audio, anything that, or even, and you know what, even if you could be in or on camera, any little thing that you can be, or that you can bring value to and for, is going to get you the job. So really, that's the biggest thing that I see, is to be a jack of all trades. Now, my question to you is as you've been working in this, or in the ESPN on ABC, or in ABC studios rather. So for those that don't know, ESPN on ABC is the simulcast, or is the score bug and everything is ESPN, but it's nationally televised on ABC Sundays and Saturdays. Saturday NBA primetime, and the Sunday showcase for the NBA and college football rather, September through December. Now that you've been working at ABC Studios in Manhattan for the last you said roughly 2 years now, do you see a potential career in solely production, or are you sticking to your guns and saying, I still want to be a play-by-play guy, but this is a road that could lead me there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's I'm 2 weeks away from turning 25 years old. I'm not quite ready to give up on the dream yet. I don't have any plans to give up on it. Got to stay on that grind. But yes, to your question, I do believe that the production side of thing could be a very, very smart path to get me into that broadcasting side. You work your way up the ladder a little bit, and then before you know it, an opportunity, a side door opens up, and it's like, and it tries to pull you in to get you to your dream. You never know when it could happen. It can happen at any time.
Now, would you see yourself doing production? I don't want to say full time, but if that dream did not work, because I always say to myself, could I do it? And I don't know yet, because I never really worked in your type of setting just yet. So, I'm an SID at St. Francis College in Brooklyn, and I've now seen the collegiate side of, I would say, the administrative side.
Right.
So now you're technically working in the pros. And would you, just because you have your foot in the door, you have those connections, would you say to yourself, if that does not work, could you see yourself here for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Believe for me, I like to tell people, do what you love. make sure you enjoy doing it, because it is one thing to make a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not someone who's against making a lot of money, but you also gotta love what you do. I mean, if you're not enjoying yourself, you are not gonna be leading a happy life, and that isn't necessarily healthy. You gotta try to make sure you're just enjoying what you're doing, love what you're doing, and yes, I do believe that I do believe that production is something that I could easily try to fall back on should I not reach the promised land.
Now, my question to you, and I know I've said this continuous times, and I do apologize, but what is the best game that you have been so actually rewind for a quick second. What's your title at ABC Studios?
In production assistant.
Production assistant. So with you being a production assistant, what is the best game that you have PA'd for? Production assisted for?
Yeah, it's tough. Over 2 years of a lot of different games, a lot of different sports. I want to say there was this one college. I mean, I've worked NBA finals too, but it's only been 2 years, so I've been seeing a lot of LeBron. I've been seeing a lot of Golden State.
Yeah.
So, I gotta say, there was a college football game, and I want to say Texas Tech was playing, I think, a Florida school, and it was just high scoring. It was intense. Just so many games over these last 2 years, especially when it's a weekly thing for college football. I'm always in for college football, so they have me in there every week. So and when you're doing 3 games a night for 12 straight weeks, they start to mesh together. So it's hard to try to remember. Yeah. You got these 8 to 10 hour days, and you're just trying to. Yeah, but yeah, I think some of the best times there. Even another part of my job is to look at old footage of the ABC's Wide World of Sports. I look at old footage and
really?
I help archive it. Yeah, it's like they're doing an archive thing with ESPN. So I think so I just look at the footage. I make sure it's all there, because with old tapes, sometimes old technology way back in them 60s, 70s, it's not always there.
Now, actually a question to you, and this is the part where we go off topic or off script rather, is have you ever logged?
Have I ever logged? I do, not in an official sense. No, I would not say I've logged anything, but
okay.
Yeah, no, like I do when I'm in my chair on the weekends. I'm in charge of the on-air report. I write down hit times for certain commercial breaks, for quarters ending, etc.
Okay, yeah, no, and the reason why I bring up logging is because I remember years ago, or it feels like years ago, but probably, back in late August, right after my birthday in September,
yeah.
I was given an opportunity to be a logger at CBS Sports, and I will say this story, full transparency, was that it was right when college soccer began, and a lot of people said to me, "You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to try at least. If you don't like it, it's one thing, and if it doesn't feel right for you, it's another thing." And a few of my friends told me, I don't know if I ever told you this, Rob, and I had said, I don't know if I really want to do this. And you're going to CBS Sports, and you're going to the 36th floor.
Yeah.
36th floor on 57th Street, right across the street from their broadcasting center. Yeah. And they have where their loggers are. They are right across from the broadcast center. So what they log during the NFL game, NFL on CBS games on Sunday, or the SEC on CBS, or whatever games it may be, it feeds directly to the truck, wherever at whatever site it is. So I remember I had to log a game or football game back from. They gave me an NFL game. I think it was who was a part of it. Actually, here, you know what? I don't remember that. Okay, I remember that, but I don't remember the team. I think it was Houston Oilers. So that was old. That was definitely
Okay.
old. But then the next game that I had to do, this one I remember, was Syracuse and Boston College. So I got to see Donovan McNabb play an actual game, right? But all joking aside with, the Eagles and Giants talk, but seriously though, I remember doing the logging and I remember saying to myself, this doesn't feel right. And when I was typing it, when I was doing whatever, I got the right, for those that are listening and, potentially that are from CBS, there's no love lost, or there's no hard feelings whatsoever. It just didn't feel right for me at the time. And people said to me, a few of my friends, actually, like my closest friend said to me, what are you doing? This could be a career move, whether, you're a logger, you're another one of your friends, Mike Slavitt, a close friend of mine, Mike, he works at MLB Network and he's a logger. And he told me, he said, that's definitely it. Like, that's what he does.
Yeah.
But he also records the hits like you. He does some hits whenever. So I don't know if he does live logging. I don't know if anyone does live logging that could be listening.
Yeah.
But all I know was that with live logging, it is extremely hard. And you have to know in your head, basically in the back of your head, there are certain formulas. There are certain letters that you have to press, and you have to make sure also that on a football game or even a basketball game, if the ball is moved, if there's a throw, if there's a first down, whatever it is, you have to make sure you hit one and then, like for one or 1S for first down or whatever. And then you have to make sure that, because every single game is different, that you have to remember their number.
Yeah.
And if you get it wrong, then you get yelled at over the headset by the truck.
Yeah.
Right. So I remember, and it made to me no sense that I think it was, do I want to go to CBS and not be happy? Or do I want to stay at St. Francis College and still do what I love, which is to work in the field of sports? Do I want to be a long-term sports information director or work in the administrative side? No. But I don't feel, when it doesn't feel right, you got to go with your gut feeling, and that's, and the reason why I brought that up is because of what you said, where, you record hits and you figure stuff out, and things are going to eventually fall into place, which now actually segues me into the next gig that you got, which was Montclair State University.
Yeah.
And getting a play-by-play job, your first, well, I don't want to say your first paid job, but your first play-by-play paid job. Tell me how you got that gig.
Well, that one's actually, that one was more of a shoot your shot kind of deal, I guess, if you want, we can word it that way. So I graduated college.
Works perfect for hockey. Shoot your shot. Absolutely.
Yeah, play on words there. I mean,
there you go.
So what I did, so I come home, I just graduated college, and obviously there's nothing I love more than broadcasting. And, while I'm in this job search, I'm like, well, let's see. I don't want to and being the broadcasting being the dream, you can't let yourself get rusty. That's one of the worst things you can do.
Oh yeah. I'm guilty of it. Absolutely.
We all are. I am too. I mean, but so what I did was I was like, you know what? I want to keep it going. I did Marist. I was the Marist College for two seasons, and I realized I got to keep this going. I was like, the ACHA is already what I know, and it's a game I understand at its speed, and I only live 10 minutes away from Montclair State University, so I just got on my little interwebs. I shot an email to the coach and asked if he would like a broadcaster, and he said yeah, and I just completed my third season with them. So
it really is unbelievable, because for those aspiring broadcasters, or not only broadcasters, but just aspiring for anything that you want to do, all you need to do is simply just shoot your shot with whatever it is. And as Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 1,000. I think it was you miss 100%. Oh my gosh, That is bad. That's quarantine brain, ladies and gentlemen. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Okay. And that is my motto, because you know what? What's the worst thing that someone will say to you? No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know
Okay.
what? So you know what? So that's the thing. You cannot get discouraged, and you have to just brush it off. That's it. Exactly. And you move on to the next thing.
Yes.
And you have to move on to the next thing. And you have to make sure in your head that you remain focused.
Yes.
And everything in your head is on straight. It's is locked in correctly, because really, you think about it, where you are, Rob, in North Jersey, you still have, if you go, Central Jersey, even South Jersey, or even a little, towards west on 80 where you are, you can find a lot of work where you are. And I'm not saying that, it's there in your face, take it. What I'm saying is that where I am, and again, I don't want this to sound like a cop out or anything along those lines to my viewers right now, but it's a different demographic.
Yeah.
Where Rob is, because it's a little more suburban. Where I am is becoming less and less of that. And now, if you think about it, like with hockey, you and I had this discussion when LIU, Long Island University, merged, and they got their first hockey team, and they have it for women's hockey right now.
Yeah.
We don't know when we're going to see men's hockey, but whatever it is, those games are broadcast on NEC Front Row, Northeast Conference Front Row, the Northeast Conference home for all their sports. And I thought, you know what? And you said to me, you're like, oh, you should get on that. And I was like, I've never done a hockey game before. And I went up once to Marist, to you, and I sat aside you and Casey, and I just gave my thoughts and just saw exactly what you guys did. And because it's either I go to an Islanders game at the Coliseum, or I go to a PAL hockey game here and do my own calling, But now, because broadcasting is getting so popular and so big with your phones, with whatever we're doing, even right here, right now, the people that are watching right now, I guarantee you have no idea that I'm in my basement right now. No idea. And right behind here, I have closet doors, okay? So just behind a banner with a microphone, with lights that I have, actual broadcasting lights that I have here, it's very difficult, because everyone wants a piece of what you want to get to. So you have to show you have to be ahead of the game. Exactly what you said with the Sports Movie Madness podcast that you have. And like I said, that is the biggest thing. You have to make sure that you do not get down on yourself when someone says, no, we already have a broadcaster. It's very hard, especially the D2, D3 level. And like I said, where you are with Montclair State, there are, I'm sure, and especially where you are over there, as opposed to where I am here, a lot less people, that's for sure. And a lot more opportunities, that's for sure. And also, obviously, an opportunity like that, it was your time. It was meant to be, where you are right now, and to be calling those games. Because really what I should have been doing, and I'm not going to lie, is that I should have been up in Iceworks or at the Islanders training facility whenever the women's hockey team for LIU for the LIU Sharks.
Yeah.
Whenever they played, I should have been up there. Or because really, I mean, I work in the NEC, I could have just asked for a credential, and I could have sat upstairs and I could have just called the game, or I could have brought my equipment, whatever, and I could have done it myself. I did it for years with Nassau Community College. There is so many different outlets to choose from. And that's why really I commend you for shooting your shot, because that to me is what is going to make a world of difference. If you can't network, if you don't have that luxury to go to a charity event and pay certain money to do, to get a seat at a table, or even not even that, or even to go to a cocktail hour, whatever it may be. CC the professional scouts that are listening, or the Professional Scouts Association that we're partnered with right now. They have every year a banquet or a charity event every year at Leonard's out in Great Neck. And every single time that I go, I always like to mingle with someone new, always like to revisit with a few scouts or a few media members that I know. But again, if you don't shoot your shot, someone else will be there to shoot their shot, and they will get a goal. That's for sure. And they'll be the winners coming back there. So now, how is Montclair State Hockey overall? Just like their on ice play. How is it in your 3 years?
So for the first time in my 3 years, they made the playoffs last season. They got in there. They were unfortunately bounced round one, but let me tell you the resiliency to get there. They needed wins. It looked like they were dead in the water with 3 games to go. They win all 3 games and propel themselves into the playoffs. They needed their 3 wins and help, and they got exactly that. They got their 3 wins and they got the proper wins that were needed, and they bumped themselves right into the 5th seed out of possible 6. When I tell you, and the last 2 games were home games, so I was right there on the call. They were in must-win situations, and let me tell you something. What is now known no longer Floyd Hall Arena, what is now Montclair State University Ice Arena, as the school just recently brought out Floyd Hall. So when I tell you they get people showing up, they get students come down, their families. That's what you get with a local school, with a small local school. Right? You get a lot of people there, and the energy, it just propelled them, and they got their 2 W's at home back-to-back nights and shot themselves into the playoffs.
And basically what that shows is the resiliency, and you never give up. And that's basically the gist of this whole interview. And, and that's the thing, is that in our business, if you give up, you can't give up, because if you do, someone will be there and they'll just walk right over you. And the same thing goes in on the ice or on the court, on the field, etc. These guys did not stop. It's exactly how it is with everything in life. And now is probably the biggest time where, I would say, really, and I've said biggest a lot this whole interview, but is the time where everyone will try and hone their skills with everything, whether it be basketball, whether it be broadcasting, whether it be play-by-play, whether it be doing these interviews, whatever it may be. Everyone has to do something in order to get to where they want to get to, once either these jobs open up, whether these jobs get cut, whatever it is. And I know, and I could see it already. Once the disaster, or we get the all clear from the CDC and everything, I'm sure that people are going to be hopping over each other for jobs. That's just the nature. And it's going, and it's not only, and Rob, it's not only for broadcasting. It's going to be for literally everything, because you're going to have, and I said this on the last show with Kevin Connolly from WSJU Sports, is that people in any position, retail, malls, gas station, whatever it may be, broadcasting is just another thing, and it's a big one. And that's what we have to make sure that we keep doing our work. And that's why, like I said, we both have to keep doing what we're doing, including you with your podcast with your boys. That is for sure. Because also, continue. I'm sorry. I've been talking.
No, you're right. You're right. You just got to stay on that grind. Keep putting those apps out, because you never know when this is over. You might hear back from somewhere. So you might hear back from somewhere. It's like they may not be hiring right now because they're doing interviews, but the applications will still be there when the recruiting people get back. So you never know. The applications will always be there, and you never know when you get that phone call. So don't stop the grind just because the world is in a pause.
Exactly right. Now back to Montclair State. Now I was at the I think it's called the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, right?
That's the
That
one.
is,
Yep.
yeah, that's right. So when I had gone up there to see you and Casey and to call, to help to be with you guys while you guys call the game, um it's your home.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. It's your home. Now with Montclair State, what are the facilities like? Is it similar to where you have to sit in the stands? Do they provide you a table? Do you sit on,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was provided a table for all. This past season, I also got off the cell phone and headphones. Brian, I got some real gear as a birthday present. So yes,
good. Okay.
The arena did provide me a table for my laptop, for everything that made the live stream possible from my laptop. So all I had to worry about was, moving the camera back and forth. That's not that hard, and then calling the game. Although I can say it can be kind of a pain to have to remember the camera while you're also trying to call an intense hockey game at the same time. But it does sound.
I give you a lot of credit.
Oh yeah, it's being a multimedia journalist. I give all those people credit. I mean, because they're literally doing everything themselves, putting themselves in situations you never know. And yeah, I spoke with the Montclair coach as I left for the final time after the SECHL Division Championship game. And he had said after the school buys out the rink, I think they're going to redo something. They're going to redo it a little bit. And it does sound like there'll be a little place for me or if I can find my successor to have a little broadcast area off, like a little enclosed area potentially. So it sounds like there's going to be some going to be some renovation to this very old ice arena.
Well, all right. So now at least they're giving you a table, which is key. I remember when we when we were up at the Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, and we sat behind a whole bunch of students, and we sat basically on the last slab of concrete.
Yeah.
And that to me, and I, you know what, and I don't want to sound like I'm spoiled or whatever, but I guess I was blessed to be able to call games from the friendly confines of Madison Square Garden, or get your own, or to get your own press box at Jack Kaiser Stadium with baseball, or to be with softball. I would be outside. They'd set up a table, they'd set up, all audio equipment, whatever it may be. So, now that they're going to be building something for the broadcasters, for the broadcaster, for you, especially because you're going to be going back there for your fourth season, I would presume.
All depends on where the main job search ends up.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that's
presumably if I'm still here, you'll see me at Montclair for a fourth time.
Yeah. Right. So, and that, like I said, that's really, really admirable that these guys have seen the work that you've put in, and also how the broadcast industry has gotten big, where really with or without you, they'd still have to put it in anyway. The most memorable game, or the most memorable moment at Montclair State?
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, there's one game that's stood out to me, and honestly, it had to be my first win, the first win I called, because it was done in come from behind fashion.
Okay.
So they're down late. They're down like 5. I think it was 5-4. Yeah, it was 5-4. Actually, I think at one point it was 5-3. And they made it 5-4, but it's like 5 minutes left, and then the clock starts ticking. So it's whisking away, and it looks like Montclair's getting ready to pull the goaltender. Maybe seconds before they pull him, they get the tying goal, goes in the net. Floyd Hall erupts, and next thing you know, we get overtime, and then just absolute a shot. Montclair took a shot, was saved, but the rebound came right into the slot. It took a nice friendly bounce right to our defenseman, and he just tapped it home into the empty net for a rebound, and then absolute medlem in the press box, in the press box, in the stands,
in the makeshift press box, right?
Oh yeah. Great game overall. And then of course another great one was just this past season, finally calling a playoff berth. Finally getting to see them get into the playoffs, and calling a few wins is always fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's, and again, that's something that really stands out as well. Every time, especially whenever you put it on a reel, it's the excitement, it's the happiness that you give to the viewers, and still doing it in a professional manner is extremely key in the job search. Following, or actually in between Montclair State, or in between ABC Studios and Montclair, you had a side gig, Devil's Army blog. Is that right in the timeline?
That's something I picked. That's something I picked up in college. Just as a little extra something to do. I like to write about I love my New Jersey Devils. I like writing as well. I like being a little low key journalist. Nothing official or anything, but being a fan who writes about the team, I get a real pleasure out of that. So yeah, it was March 2016, I believe, when I first joined the Devil's Army blog.
And how did you get, or how did you find them, or how did they find you?
Yeah, no, I think I followed them on Facebook many years ago, and Twitter and all that, and just another shoot your shot type thing. I was like, you need a writer, and they did, and they gave me a trial run, and worked out from there, and I got 3 wonderful years out of being a member there.
Right. And now, and also too, it's something amazing to add to the resume as well.
Yeah.
To say that you are able to write, and be credited for the work that you've done, rather than just writing a random blog for yourself. You're writing it for someone credible, and especially for your beloved Devils that we could see on your wall, just to your 5 o'clock. Yeah. Exactly. And also the NJ crest on your t-shirt. Yeah. So moving it forward rather, you currently work for, or have another quote unquote side gig with Fansided's Pucks and Pitchforks. Tell us a little bit about your experience there, and what you do for them, and what team you cover. I can only imagine what team you cover.
Oh, well, this is small NHL team in the middle of New Jersey. They call themselves the Devils, and it was it. For me, that was kind of a roller coaster decision, because I saw that they were looking. I follow them too. I follow many Devils fan pages. It's just part of being a Devils fan. And so what had happened was, I saw that they were looking for it, and I know that the notoriety that Fansided has. So I said to myself, you know what? You gave Devils Army blog 3 great years. Take your shot, see if you can move yourself up. So I reached out to them, I threw my application through Fansided. They said that they obviously you had to show samples, so I took a lot of samples from Devil's Army blog, and sure enough, they said yes. I gave my heartfelt goodbyes to my supervisors at Devil's Army blog, and have been with Fansided, I would say, probably since roughly June, I believe, of last year. It was about.
Yeah, it's right. And again, something else to add to the resume, and you continue to build that experience now on the writing side. And really, I love how you do that, because now, on top of having sports broadcasting knowledge and having the experience, now you also have the production side of things.
Yeah.
Now you also have the writing side of things as well. And now eventually it's coming full circle, and it's forming that sports business circle that Rob DeLuca is trying to officially accomplish, where you can now be that quote unquote jack of all trades for any random for any random business that's out there, or network, or whoever it is that you will get hired by in due time, or when that right time is. So that's really amazing, Rob. I'm really happy for you. And I'm happy to hear that not only you're doing well, but also that you're keeping yourself busy in these extenuating times, in these extenuating circumstances where we both and all of us have no control over what goes on when we leave, etc. So other than sports, this is a general question now.
Yeah.
Other than sports for you, which I know Rob DeLuca is not really an other than sports type of guy, but let's now bring that into sort of a game type thing.
I like
Or right, exactly. Or a game type question. So in your free time right now, what else have you been doing besides, keeping up with sports, keeping up with your podcast, making sure that, you stay healthy, etc.?
Yeah, that's really it. I mean, at this point, I'm right now your average guy. I play my video games. I watch a little TV, spend some time with the family, and yeah, just overall try to stay healthy, help around the house. Make myself an important. You gotta keep your worth around when you're around your parents' house.
Yeah, that's
times.
That's right. Good. Well, I'm glad, like I said, and I'm really glad that, you're able to stay busy, keep doing that. And, that, like I said, that is really key. Now, I know that we can go on and on and on about St. John's, about the Giants, about the Yankees, about your Devils, and about sports in general. But I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. In about 2 weeks, when we have I believe it's episode number 23 of the Primetime Rundown, that'll be on the Eastern Observer and the networks of Blackjack Media. Rob DeLuca will be joining us on draft night, so that will be a ton of fun, and he'll be able to give his insight for his Giants and for the rest of college football for the draft. It's going to be tons of fun. I know Rob's going to be getting his name and his face out there on the Eastern Observer and the Blackjack networks, Blackjack Media networks. A lot of good stuff. But this is the biggest question that I have, and the biggest question of all, because you're wearing your your New Jersey Devils t-shirt, and we can see the Marty Brodeur. We could see the banner in the back.
Yeah.
We could also see, yep. And it looks like that's, I would say, Patrick Eliash as well.
All-time favorite. Absolutely.
Right. Exactly. And you also have the mini fathead sticker of the
that
Devils.
That is correct. What an eye.
Right. There you go. Right. Exactly. See, it shows how much TV I watched years ago. And actually paid attention to the commercials, which is
believe me, there's plenty more around. Believe me, there's plenty more around here.
Yeah, well,
that's just what's on the wall.
There you go. Well, I'm sure, and I've been to your house before. I've seen it. It's crazy. So the reason why you are a Devils fan, period, is the biggest question that I think that all of us have. Why are you a Devils fan? How did you become a Devils fan? And obviously, you're going to be a Devils fan for your whole life, but why and how did it become?
My guess would have to be, I mean, it just goes back so far. I was so young. And I guess I would watch hockey on TV. My dad would go to games. And obviously with the Devils being the closest hockey team, basically back then in the beautiful Meadowlands, the beautiful Continental Airlines Arena, great place.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
We went to a game, and then that's a literal.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the Continental Airlines Arena. I was there a few times for a few Devils games, for even a few Nets games as well. Many years ago. Really, really fun stuff. And then obviously, the Nets are now here and whatever. And the story is over after that. I remember I was at, I think, one of the last New Jersey Nets games ever. It was really a sad sight to see at the Prudential Center. But that's, I think that what we've learned today from Rob DeLuca is that we can never give up with what we do. We keep on going, and to be a jack of all trades in this industry is the biggest key. And we cannot thank Rob DeLuca enough for joining us here on the Primetime Rundown Zoom interview series, episode number 3. Rob DeLuca, My friend, thank you so much for joining me here on episode number 3. And we will see you on episode number 23 of our podcast, the Primetime Rundown.
Thanks for having me, Joe. I look forward to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot thank you enough for tuning in to episode number 3 of the Primetime Rundown Zoom interview series. We're going to be promoting as well our partners, the Nolan Carroll Foundation, Ed Randall's Fan for the Cure, also our newest partner as well, the New York Professional Scouts Association. We'll give you their website once we have a working URL, if you call it, or a working website. We'll get that up and running. But also, do not forget, this coming Friday, episode number 22 of the Primetime Rundown will air right here on the Eastern Observer, the Blackjack Media Networks, and also on YouTube. That'll be Tyler Adele, Nick Partain, and he will also be interviewing Mike Valenti from the Golden Stick Wiffle Ball League, who will be a partner soon to come as well. Also, just before all of that, episode number 4 of the Primetime Rundown Zoom interview series will feature New York Professional Scouts Association member Ross Mertz. He is also a right fielder for the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights in the Northeast Conference, and we'll be figuring out how the quarantine and the stoppage of collegiate play has affected him and his team. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot thank you enough for tuning in. I'm Joey Jarzynka, and for all of us at the Eastern Observer and the Blackjack Media Networks, good night.